Hello, Marvel fans! Welcome again to another Did You Know series. And this time, it's all about the Devils of Hell's Kitchen, Daredevil. Daredevil, or the Man Without Fear, also known as Matt Murdock, was created by Stan Lee and artist Bill Everett. The character first appeared in Daredevil number 1. Writer-artist Frank Miller influential tenure on the title in the early 1980s cemented the character as a popular and influential part of Marvel Universe. His origins stem from a childhood chemical accident that gave him special abilities. While growing up in the historically gritty or crime-ridden working-class Irish-American neighborhood of Hell's Kitchen in New York City, Matt Murdock is blinded by a radioactive substance that falls from an out-of-control truck after he pushes a man out of the path of the oncoming vehicle. While he can no longer see, his exposure to the radioactive material heightens his remaining senses beyond normal human ability and gives him a radar sense. And now, Marvel fans, here are some fearless facts about the blind lawyer from Hell's Kitchen, Matt Murdock. Number 1, Spider-Man Shadow. Most avid fan or comic book fans are aware that Daredevil and Spider-Man are good friends in the comics. One of the main factors behind their strong relationship is how similar the two characters are, especially since both of them are based in New York. In fact, when Daredevil was first introduced, he was considered a lame Spider-Man knockoff. Daredevil even has his own form of spidey sense, allowing him to locate villains and criminals despite being blind. The pair also tend to face similar villains, with character like the Kingpin being considered a major villain to both heroes. Number 2, his costume used to be yellow. Like most superheroes, Daredevil is instantly recognizable by his iconic costume. But what you may not know is that his original costume wasn't actually red, it was yellow. Most accurately, it was a combination of yellow, black, and red. But due to poor sales numbers, however, Marvel decided to make several changes to the character which included changing his costume to the red version we know and love today. It was later revealed that Daredevil had made the original yellow costume from his dad's boxing gear. Number 3, he is based on a prototype for Batman. You may find it hard to believe that Daredevil, who was created in the 1960s, served as a prototype for Batman, a character that had been around since the 1930s. But it's actually true. The original Batman comics were very light-hearted and goofy. It wasn't until Frank Miller took over the Batman adopted his Dark Knight persona, before he began writing Batman comics. However, Frank Miller worked on Daredevil transforming him into one of Marvel's most popular characters by incorporating darker themes and storylines. Essentially, Miller used his experience from writing for Daredevil to mold his version of the Dark Knight. Number 4, Stan Lee had reservations about introducing the character. Like many of Marvel's famous heroes, Daredevil was created by Stan Lee with the help of Bill Everett and the one and only Jack Kirby. Stan Lee was nervous about creating a blind character. However, as he feared that the series might offend the blind community by creating a character that could do things they couldn't, he eventually decided to do it, but told Marvel executives that if there was any sort of backlash, he would immediately scrap the character. Luckily, the character didn't receive any criticism. But that hasn't prevented writers from trying to distance Matt Murdock from ordinary and blind people. Number 5, a real-life mugging is why Frank Miller gave the stories a serious tone. When Frank Miller took over the series in the early 1980s, he changed the tone of the series to dark and serious one we know and love today. One of the biggest changes he made was putting more of a focus on street crime. The reason for this change? While working on the series, Miller was mugged twice in New York City. Miller was quoted as saying, "After I got mugged, I was really eager to see criminals shot on sight. Thus, he gave us a superhero who wasn't afraid to cripple street thugs. Number 6, Daredevil indirectly helped create the Avengers. Although Daredevil would turn down an invitation to join the Avengers on multiple occasions, the team may never have existed without him. Marvel fans, did you know Marvel was in full panic mode when they realized that Daredevil number 1 wasn't going to be ready in time for print? And even though the artist had been working on the comic for over 6 months, desperate and facing a tight deadline, Stanley suggested that they group several existing Marvel characters together to create a team. This would allow the characters to jump right into a brand new series without needing an origin story. The rest, as they say, is history. Number 7, Daredevil inspired the creation of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Created by Kevin Eastman and Peter Lard, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were actually intended to be a homage of Daredevil. Among several other comics, there are many direct allusions to the Daredevil series, most of which relate to the origins of the Turtles. In fact, the origin story is essentially the same. As in both comics, a canister full of radioactive materials flies off the back of the truck and gives a character their respective powers. Furthermore, Splinter, the Turtles' mentor, is an homage to Stick, Daredevil Sensei. And finally, Daredevil's ninja villains, the Hand, inspired by the Foot Clan. Number 8, there was another hero called Daredevil in the 1940s. Liv Gleason publications beat Marvel to the punch when they introduced a character called Daredevil in September of 1940. Similar to Captain America, this version of Daredevil helped America fight Nazis during the World War II. Although this character is a completely separate entity from Marvel's Daredevil, it is interesting to note that both characters share a disability. Instead of being blind, however, this character is deaf. Of course, the Man Without Fear has long overshadowed these versions of Daredevil. Number 9, he's a devout Catholic. Despite Daredevil being a Catholic in the Marvel Daredevil series, it might not be obvious that he is a devout Catholic. In both the Daredevil series and comics, Matt Murdock is in more than one occasion seeking solace in the church. Having grown up there, it is very transparent that he is a Catholic, but maybe not a devout Catholic. Over the years, Daredevil's devotion to his Catholicism has wavered and morphed, as seen in Season 3 of the Daredevil show. Regardless, his relationship over the years with Catholicism was morphed and changed, but one thing has always stayed consistent: his devotion to his religion as a whole. And number 10, Daredevil got his vision back. Blinded as a child, Matt Murdock uses heightened senses to see the world around him. But the fact remains that Matt hadn't physically seen the world since he was blinded. Something that is lesser known is that in a Marvel crossover event Axis, all the heroes became villains, and vice versa. In this issue, Daredevil attempts to take Tony Stark down. But in doing so, Matt is injected with extremis and his eyesight returned. Unless he gave in to Tony's commands, he would keep his eyesight. But Matt wouldn't give in, and instead, rushed to Paggy to see him before his sight wore off. This was one of the more sentimental moments fans saw with Matt, and something that the TV show fans can also relate to, as Matt and Paggy's relationship in the Daredevil series is one of the connection and devotion. So there you have it, Marvel fans, 10 fearless facts about the Daredevil. If you like this video, please give it a like and please subscribe to this channel. If you have any suggestion on what my next video is, please comment down below. Thank you, and I'll see you again, Marvel fans. Goodbye.